The GE refrigerator is not giving any digits on the display board. It's not giving any numbers. The model number is on the display. And I'm going to show you what we did to repair this issue. Welcome to DIY Repair Now. Remember to be safe. Make sure you disconnect the appliance before you start working on it. And like I was saying at the beginning of the video, this refrigerator is not giving any digits on the display board where the temperature can be adjusted. So we're gonna go ahead and start by checking the main control board. And as you see, we remove the cover for the main control board, which is in the back of the refrigerator on the right side and the bottom. Now we're gonna go ahead and disconnect all the harnesses to take a better look on the main control board. To be able to disconnect this wire harness, you just have to wiggle the harness, just wiggle it till it comes out, and that should do the trick. As you see on the video, you're gonna be able to see this procedure later on when I put everything back together, in case you don't have a good view because I didn't have a good lighting that day. So like I said, this particular model brings a lot of wiring going into the main control board. In this case, you can tell visually the two capacitors that are popping out that are bad on the main control board, which some people go ahead and replace those little capacitors, but in this case, we give 3 months warranty to the customer, and we want to go ahead and put a brand new main control board. You can find a link on the description of this video. If you want to buy this part, just go to the link on the description of the video. Now, once we remove all the harnesses from the main control board, you're going to go ahead and press these little tabs. They are holding the main control board in place. As you see, I'm going to try to get that in a couple footage. That way you have an idea in how to press and release those little tabs. Sorry, I didn't got that in a very good view, but you get the idea in this photo. You will see the little tab that is holding the main control board in place, and you just press that with a flathead screwdriver, and then we'll release it from those tabs. Here's the bottom one. Is a total of 4 tabs. They are holding the main control board in place. I put this in slow-mo, that way you see how I press that, and as you see, it comes out. Then we're gonna do the one on the left side on the top, and now we're doing the one on the bottom. Like I said, it's easy. If you have a flathead screwdriver, you just do one at a time. At this point, we remove all the harness except for the one that brings the 110 volts power, because it's easier to do this for last because it comes out on the side. So just follow the video along if you want to go ahead and do this repair. This video will walk you through. If you want to see this with more detail, just slow the video on the settings. As you see right now, I took a photo. Where I got my thumb is the 2 little capacitors that are popping out. And as you see on the new one, they are totally flat. This is a very visual indication that those capacitors are bad and the new ones are flat, so that means the new ones are good. Now we're going to go ahead and put the main control board in place. And don't forget to do the power supply harness first, because it's easier to do it before you put the board in his position, because like I said, it goes on the sides. So if you put the main control board and you do it afterward, you're gonna have a difficult position to put it in place. As you see now, I'm gonna go ahead and start connecting all the wiring back in place. And one thing that I always suggest before you're going to go ahead and start removing these harnesses, take pictures just to make sure which harness goes where, because In this case, I didn't do it because I do this pretty much every day. So I know which one goes in his position. So for you, if you don't do this for living, just go ahead and take a picture, and the picture will help you to put everything back together. As you see, I'm doing this kind of fast, but like I said, because I do hundreds every month. But for you, I suggest take a photo, and that way you make sure you're doing it right. Just take a photo of all the wiring and the right side and also the left side, because it's some single wires that goes in the board as well. And like I said, it's the same way. Just put it in place and then wiggle it in. It's easier to put it back in than when you are taking it apart, because sometimes they get stuck in the connections. Once you do the ones on the left, just go ahead and look for the right position on the one. Once you do on the right, make sure you do the ones on the left. The same way you're removing. And those single wires, you don't get lost because one terminal is smaller than the other one, so you know the big one, it will not fit on the small one, or the small one will not fit on the big one, so you don't get lost by those two. They did that on purpose. Just go ahead and position the wires on the side, that way it doesn't get pinched by the cover. Go ahead and put your ground wire, the one you just see me screwing in, that's the ground wire. Make sure you do that, because you don't want to create any shortage by leaving that wire hanging. Now we put in the cover back together. At this point, we're pretty much done. We're gonna go ahead and put all the screws back in place. And like I said, just take your time and do them one by one. After you go ahead and put this panel back on, just make sure your condenser coils are fine, and take a peek at the compressor. Make sure everything there is fine as well. But like I said, if you don't see any digits on the display board, this is a clear indication that your main control board has problems. Once you remove the main control board, 90% of the time you will visually see a damage in one of the resistors, or in one of those little capacitors. If you see they bubbling out or popping out, that is the problem. Now we're going to go ahead and plug the refrigerator back again, and we're going to go ahead and go to the front of the refrigerator. And as you see, we are getting digits now. Before we didn't have none of this. If you press once, it gives you the temperature inside the refrigerator. If you tap again any of the digits, it will give you the setting that you want to set it on to. Again, as you see, if I press twice, it'll put it on 0 and 37. That is the recommendation setting that it shows on the display. So we're going to go ahead and do recommendation settings to be on the safe side. We can hear the fan for the ice maker blowing, and the fan for the refrigerator blowing cold air already. And I'm just trying to peek in here, make sure the compressor is not overheating or anything like that. I'm gonna go ahead and take a closer look. And like I said, this is just to make sure the fan motor inside there is working. The fan motor that goes on the condenser right by the compressor. If you see the fan blowing air and the compressor is working the way it's supposed to, just put everything back together. Make sure the relay is fine. This is just an inspection that you do just to avoid having another complication while you do this repair. At this point, compressor is getting warm. The compressor always has to be warm or hot, but not extremely hot. If you put your hand on and the compressor is too hot, that you have to remove your hand, we have a problem. You have to check the condenser fan motor, which is right on the right side of the compressor, and if that fan is not working, it have to be replaced. But in this case, like I said, this is just an inspection that we are doing because we replaced the main control board. Now we put in the old board in the box. If this video helped you in any way, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for future videos. Thanks for watching.